Let's start with the US presidential race, where the frontrunners in both parties have extended their leads in the latest primaries. On the Republican side, Donald Trump has won a decisive victory in the key state of Florida, while the Democrat Hillary Clinton has extended her lead with wins in 4 states. Let's have a closer look at this. Dominating contests were held in 5 states on Tuesday: Florida, Illinois, Ohio, North Carolina, and Missouri. The big news for the Republicans is that Marco Rubio has suspended his presidential campaign after losing his home state of Florida to Donald Trump. Trump also won in Illinois and North Carolina, but he didn't manage to secure Ohio. It was Governor John Kasich who won in a landslide in his home state. Well, they're still counting ballots in Missouri, but right now it's neck and neck between Trump and Cruz, each with 41% of the vote. For the Democrats, the picture is a little clearer. Hillary Clinton has so far won 4 out of the 5 states up for grabs. Bernie Sanders is hanging on in Missouri, where the counting hasn't finished yet. So what does this all mean for the overall delegate count? Well, Donald Trump has 621 delegates. He needs 1,237 to win his party's nomination. Hillary Clinton has 1,094 delegates. She needs 2,383 to win the Democratic nomination. Okay, let's try and unpick what all this means with Sean Michael Cox. He's the Director of International Affairs at Bahcesehir University here in Istanbul. He joins me in the studio. Good to see you again, Michael. So it was known as Separation Tuesday. Has the separation happened?
Absolutely, it has. Hillary's extended her lead over Bernie, and she is the presumptive candidate for the Democrats going into a general election, and Trump has secured his lead even further, although not with the level of success that he was looking for.
Yeah, explain what's happened there, because he's won Florida, which means he got all the delegates from Florida, but he didn't win Ohio. He needed to get a clean sweep, didn't he, to really be a front runner?
If he had taken Ohio, he would have definitely been the candidate going into the convention in July. Ohio is basically a blip against him. It's more of a stumbling block, but I don't think it's hampering his campaign at all, and it will not as his campaign moves forward.
Okay, Rubio has stood down from the race, but Kasich is still running after winning his first state. What do you think is Kasich's plan? Because he's just won 1 state, but he's still hanging on.
The idea now is to challenge Trump going into the convention for the Republican establishment to make an argument that there are other viable candidates that can better represent the Republican ideals and Republican ideology.
So explain how that happens. So he might still not have the overall win, but he has enough delegates?
If he has enough delegates going into the convention, they can have a contested convention where the argument can be made that Kasich is a stronger candidate to stand against Hillary in a general election than Trump would be, especially given the tone of Trump's campaign.
But is that democracy?
It is not necessarily democracy in terms of choice, but if you look at the overall campaign, it really hasn't been that particularly demographic. If you look at overall voting numbers, Trump has not won with more than 50% of the vote. He's had advantage, especially after last night, of the winner-take-all system.
Okay, so where does this, if we look at the Democrats, where does this leave Sanders against Clinton?
Sanders started out his campaign as a message candidate, and with surprisingly strong showing in early primaries, he became a viable candidate. Now he's sliding back into the messenger role, and Hillary will now begin adopting some of his message to reach out to those who have voted for Bernie in the recent primaries.
Okay, Michael Cox, still a lot of twists and turns ahead. Looking forward to discussing it with you. Many thanks for joining us.